What's up, everyone? Mitch Sadowsky here at Coastal Performance, and we're going to talk about the hinge, specifically the hinge in your golf game. So one thing we see with a lot of golfers is lower back pain, and understanding some of the mechanisms of lower back pain and how we can get golfers in a more biomechanically advantageous position, but also teach them how to hinge properly so that their back stops hurting while they're golfing, and we can also help try to take away some of that back pain. So with most associated back pain, we're going to have an altered breathing pattern. So we're going to start on the floor here. And I'm going to start just on my back, and I'm going to set my pelvis. You'll see that a lot of people with back pain, if you're one of them, you can kind of slide that hand underneath. So I'm going to push my lower back down to try to create a more neutral hip. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to inhale, and as I inhale, I'm going to anteriorly tilt. So I'm going to bring my back up off the ground and take a nice big breath in. And then as I exhale, I'm going to try to posterior tilt, tuck those hips underneath, driving the rib cage down towards my hips. Inhale again. As I'm inhaling both through my nose and my mouth to try to get more expansion through my rib cage. And then I'm going to take a loaded object. So for me, I'm going to use a DVRT. And I'm going to bring this up overhead. I'm going to pull it apart to give me a little bit more core engagement, and I'm going to repeat that. So as you get that weight in, you're going to start to feel a little bit more load through that rib cage. You're going to start to feel a little bit more stability through the midsection. So in the next phase of that, I'm going to hang on to that DVRT, that sandbag. You can use a duffel bag, you can use a backpack, you can use pretty much whatever you have laying around the house. And I'm going to bring that into a front racked or loaded position. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to stay in this tall kneeling position. I'm going to have my knees out, maybe about hip to shoulder width, and I'm going to brace down like I did. So if we get into that same pelvic tilt, I'm going to lock underneath, and I'm going to pull the bag and my elbows into my heels, and then I'm going to come back up to that tall kneeling position, squeezing my glutes. I don't want to fall into that extension position, sticking my hips down. I'm going to keep that bucket of water loaded and filled through my hips, and I'm going to pull the bag back with me, drive up. Pull, drive up. One more time. Pull, drive up. So from there, I'm going to move to the wall, and I'm going to do a wall hinge with shoulder flexion. So this is going to, again, help brace my rib cage so that as I'm coming back, I'm not sticking my butt back and getting into that extended position. I'm going to keep the rib cage down and push away. So I'm going to brace, reaching back, and then drive up by pushing the floor away and squeezing my glutes. So I'm going to brace, keep your abs tight, push away from the wall, drive up. If that's too far, we can move. You can adjust your hand position, brace, press away, sit into the hinge, drive up. Okay, after we do a few of those, I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to bring the DVRT with me. And again, duffel bag, backpack, whatever you have laying around. And I'm going to work on my hinge to the wall. So I'm going to keep those glutes tight, nice neutral pelvis, and I'm going to drive my hips back to the wall. If I can't find the wall and I've got to feel that falling back, I'm just going to adjust about an inch back. Brace, drive, sit back to the wall. Once I hit that wall, I'm going to drive back up, squeezing my glutes, and I'm going to squeeze my glutes to extend the hips. I'm not going to extend, then squeeze. I want my glutes to match that hip extension. So drive back. Once I hit the wall, up. Then I'm going to scoot forward just a little bit to try and find my end range of where I can control that hinge position. So hinge back, a little knee flexion forward is fine. Can still hit that wall. Reach back. I can come down just a bit, and right there's about the end of where I can control it. And I'm going to go back down. I'm going to find that position again. So hips underneath, drive back, drive up. Now I'm going to create some load. So I'm going to bring that the weight in front of me. Now I'm going to hinge back, brace, and now when we pick an object up, I'm going to pack my shoulders back, push the earth away, and squeeze at the top. Hinge back, and I'm going to find the wall again, drive up. Hinge back, keeping that bag coming straight down along my shins, drive up and squeeze. And again, as I'm squeezing, I'm trying to drive the rib cage down, getting my glutes and abs to work together. So we talk about in the golf swing, glutes are the king of the golf swing, but the abs are the queen. We need the kingdom working together. If there's disconnect and only one is working, then the other's not, and then nobody's working. So as we use that, when we set up into our golf swing and we get to our address position, we want to make sure that we're not sitting back. We want to make sure that we're not curling over the top of the wall, or over the top of the ball. So I'm going to keep my pelvis neutral, set back, and then get into my setup. And a lot of times what we can do here is get into that anterior tilt, posterior tilt, find neutral. Okay, give those a try. We'll see you soon.